Hey everybody, welcome back to Purple Sector. We're going to break down the Australian GP, and once again, we have Kyle and we have Zach. And let's start with the greatest news. Piastri out before making it to the grid.
That's got to be painful. I feel for fans sitting there watching that. Buy the special hat, you're sitting in the fans, you're waiting for your guy to,
I'm out of
and then,
hats.
yeah, just unfortunate. It sounds like it just bit him, right? Had more power than he wanted, was on the curb,
More
and
kilowatts than expected. The batteries are going to bite everyone in the butt this year.
yeah, that's unfortunate. But he's proven he's got competitive pace with Lando, so he's gonna be back there for China.
Yeah, no, they'll look decent. Hopefully he has a smoother start to second race, but he's good. He had his up and downs last year, so can't expect every race to be perfect. It's just it seems like a lot of people on their home races have very terrible luck.
Well, yeah, the curse, right? No Australian driver on the podium in the Australian GP since.
And Bottas is Australian too, correct? Yeah. So
no.
I thought he was. Who am I thinking of?
He basically is. He's like adopted Australian.
He's adopted Australian.
He's Swedish, something like
that.
He
is Swedish.
Yeah. Huh. It's the haircut and all the commercials.
He does look Australian. I swear someone else is Australian. Well, other than Ricardo.
Yeah. He's honorary Australian.
Yeah, we'll count it. But DNF, so same as Piastri. Audi maiden voyage, bittersweet. Hulkenberg lost telemetry, so they retired, and then Bortoleto looks pretty good. P9.
Yeah, I think high possibility that they had a double points finish for their first race as Audi. That would have been pretty cool.
That would have been awesome. I think they're about where they were end of last season. You look at the DNFs, they might knock down a little bit, but without the Hulkenberg retirement and assuming that you still lose Hadjar the same way, maybe they go 9-10. There's a little bit of a fight from like 9 to 11 most of the race.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit behind like Haas and VCarb, but I think they're going to be fighting for positions, kind of fighting to get into Q3. So they're definitely in that midfield battle.
Be fun to have a good, solid midfield, like three good teams or so, maybe 4.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull and McLaren are going to be possibly in this like weird gray area in between your top tier and your mid. So.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think it's right. Mercedes, obvious choice. I think Ferrari is going to be there. Probably not too far off the pace. They might win some races, but unless something changes, which they very well could. High development rate this year. But I think, McLaren, Red Bull fighting for P3 in the constructors is kind of what we're looking at. But who knows? Ferrari could fall off a cliff and we could see Red Bull going P2 and who knows?
Yeah. Before we get too far about ourselves, race start. Ferrari, rocket ship, Leclerc, turn 1.
Yeah. So I think Piastri not being on the grid did Leclerc a massive favor. Gave him a lane to kind of zip through people because Hadjar looked like he was going to take the lead, which is funny. If you watch Hadjar's onboard, it's like he's going for it. He's going to take the lunge into turn 1, and Leclerc just bobs and weaves through him and takes the lead.
Watching it live, that's like the first thing we said. Is if Piastri was there, that might have looked quite different, but he wasn't. So
no, but I think it's proven Ferrari's got an advantage on the start. They opted for this smaller turbo. They're going to be able to get off the line quicker. I wouldn't be surprised to see other teams start exploring that. It's going to take them a while to adopt that change in a power unit,
and it's especially with not a lot second Grand Prix a week later. There's not a lot of time to make that decision and hope that it works out.
No, we're talking halfway through the season or something.
Yeah, it'd be like summer break.
An upgrade like that. Yeah.
Summer break. Yeah. One of the big things post-race we saw was, I know the Mercs had it. I think I saw Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris, a lot of the big names, 0% battery start. It's weird.
Yeah, don't quite understand it. It seems like there was some type of deployment issue on the recon lap or the formation lap, and just drained, wasn't recharging right or something. But um, definitely a regulation issue, not necessarily a car specific issue. The way that multiple drivers are having this.
Yeah, you would think going around the track, 'cause, I mean, when they go to the grid, they try to warm up tires. They, try to charge their battery. You would think that by the time they got there, they'd have something. Like 0% is wild.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would assume that when they leave the garage that they have 100% battery. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Let's look into
why
that.
couldn't you on a formation lap or a recon lap? Why couldn't you just have the battery deployment completely turned off, and then in theory your battery stays at 100%? But I don't know. Maybe they need that, or there's no way to turn it 100% off. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that one, because I would assume too. Like, you know, when you try to leave the house, usually try to have your phone charged. Say,
Low
take
battery,
the
but
take a Formula One car out of the garage, turn battery off, turn it in low power, figure it out. I don't know. Hadjar looked good on the start, aggressive, clean. He was having a good race. I don't remember what lap he retired, but quite unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, it looked like he had pace. I think he could have been fighting Lewis for that P3.
Yeah, he fought Lewis, and I think him and Lindblad went at it for a couple turns. I think Lindblad actually got the better of him, if I remember correctly. But yeah, maybe Red Bull has that. We talked about it for quali. Maybe Red Bull has their second driver. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope they've got a competitive team and at least make the constructors interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if he's qualifying P3, and I'm just going to assume Max is better than him. I mean, maybe we have
Until
a three-headed
proven
monster on the
otherwise.
top. Yeah, I mean, until proven. It would take a lot to do that. And then one of the most exciting things at the start, other than the rocket ship, Colapinto almost died, like
Yeah.
half an inch from taking out Liam Lawson.
Yeah, well, I give Cole a lot of hate towards Colapinto just because he crashes a lot, but it shows his reaction. Like he's a good driver, right?
Oh, it's
Like
phenomenal.
yeah, they're like inches away from Lawson's back
And
tire
not
when he
just
makes that move.
Lawson, the wall.
Yeah,
Like, there's
I
no
thought he
room for
tapped
error.
the wall, to be honest. I had to go back and watch it a few times, but yeah, um, good on him. I wish
Yeah,
Alpine was better, but
well done. Yeah, he wouldn't have been in that situation. And hopefully Lawson learns how to start, because he was basically parked. It was real sketchy.
yeah,
Other one we talked about a bit. Lindblad, good aggressive start, but his entry into turn one is kind of free. I think the top teams all had such a launch that there's kind of a chunk of space, not taken away from the fact that he got into turn one. He was aggressive. He gained spots quick. I mean, he was, I think, P5 coming out of the first few corners.
yeah.
He looked real good and aggressive.
He took advantage of the opportunity he was given. I think there was some cars up at the front that Antonelli, we saw him fall off, and then we had Piastri that wasn't there, so there was a hole and a bit more room to move around, and that gave him an opening. He went for it, and it worked out. So yeah, I think he's a pretty good driver. I'm excited about that. I also give him the edge over Lawson right now, just based on the eye test.
100% give him edge over Lawson. Eye test. Points on debut, third youngest driver to do it. If he's that good, Red Bull and Racing Bulls have a good problem on their hand, especially if Hadjar stays good. Or maybe it makes Verstappen go to Mercedes. Probably not, but they have a good team. Get away from the exciting stuff for a second. Aston basically were testing the cars.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
This was like the makeup test for Barcelona.
Yeah, they did for sure did more laps.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they
Uh,
only did like 6 laps at the shakedown. Um, but
they were
yeah, I
more
mean,
laps down than they achieved in testing.
by a factor of over two. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they got data. Um, I was concerned because of the nature of them going into the garage and then going back out and going back into the garage that this had something to do with the potential nerve damage. I think it's something like 20 or 25 laps before the vibrations can cause the drivers harm. I
Yeah,
don't know
Newey
what truth
was.
there is to that. Part of me feels like that's Aston trying to play games with Honda to get them to shape up and fix their stuff. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean, Alonso, where did he go in on lap 15? Came back out a bit later, um, and then put in another 10 or 15 laps. Stroll managed to make it to the end, but he was 15 laps down by
He
the
went
end
in
of
at
it.
1.2 though, didn't
Correct.
he?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
about halfway through,
I mean, I
and was
learned
in the
something.
garage
I
for a
didn't know
while.
you could retire and come back out. I had no idea because to like 99.9% of the time, once someone retires, they're done.
Yeah, I don't understand the regulations around that either. I think we've seen that in recent times, one or two other times where someone has retired and then they got a penalty, and rather than taking that penalty at the next race, they went back out and served it and then re-retired.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not sure how that gets worked into the rule set.
to look at that too and understand that fully. So to everyone watching, we stayed up and watched the race, which was quite exciting for the first half. But Ferrari doesn't know how to pit, so then all the spiciness fell off quick. Instead of it was Merc Ferrari in the top four, and then and they were um, Russell Leclerc battling it out, swapping positions, and then Ferrari VSC doesn't pit.
Yeah. Three things are certain in life: death, taxes, and Ferrari botching the strategy. It's I don't understand it. Like, are they just so paralyzed to make a decision that they just don't make any decision? How do you not split the strategy there, pit at least one of them with Mercedes and spread the risk? It's like they didn't learn anything from what McLaren went through in Qatar. Like,
You have a 7-time world champion questioning you on the team radio of, hey, shouldn't we pit? Pit
yeah,
the guy. Pit one. Who cares? Like, yeah, like you said, split the strategy. Um, couldn't tell you if they were going to do it the second time because the pit lane got close. So, I mean,
I'll bet
still,
they had planned on going in and then just got screwed over on the timing. Um,
but I
but I
mean,
don't know. I think they could have given it a shot. I do think that once Mercedes was out in front, they just started managing pace. So I don't know that we've seen their true speed. Um, they're probably just giving it what they needed to maintain the gap to Charles.
and I mean, especially with a one stop. I mean, once
Yeah.
you're up there, there's no point. Um, I unfortunately had to look it up, but Lindblad defending the big dog team, and it was Verstappen. I picked the worst time to walk out of the room. Had to take care of family stuff, but the dude's feisty. I mean, holding off Max is no joke. You hear interviews. I just listened to a Behrman interview of recent times, and he's like, "It's a dream to be in F1. It's terrifying to have Max behind me. I got goosebumps. Like you're in a race getting goosebumps because Max Verstappen's behind you. Scary, but as a rookie debut race, defending against them well and aggressive, um, awesome. I mean, I
He's
like the
locked
kid
in
already.
too. If you had watched the pre-race show, and they always do the warm up, where they're doing the ball drop and the reaction test thing.
Talking about when he's
Um,
just sitting against the wall.
no, he was standing with his engineer, and they were doing the ball drop thing, like getting warmed up as part of his reaction time, and he had just like super locked in face, like furrowed eyebrows, like mean mugging. He was just like right there. So um, I'm excited about him. I think he's going to go
Yeah,
places.
I was excited last year when they announced that he was going to move up. I was thinking, I saw another one. He was sitting against the wall by the grid, just same thing, just knees tucked up a little bit, sitting there just staring off not moving a muscle. You can just tell he's, I don't know what he's thinking of, but something gnarly, just locked in.
Well, you're a Red Bull boy, despite your shirt.
This is my
Is
representing Piastri shirt, and I
yeah.
guess today's like a RIP Piastri.
Oh, I
I'll say I'm a
appreciate it.
Lando fan for one day.
One day, I will take it. Do you have Lindblad over Hadjar, or do you see him
Sample
surpassing
size
Hadjar?
is too small,
Potential.
but eye test, yes. I mean, I think the result speaks for itself. It's obviously the eye test is very small sample size, new regs. Playing field's probably a little more level. The RB was not bad last year though, and the RB looks decent right now. So I mean, maybe it's kind of even. Um, I think he looks good. He's aggressive. I mean, what P8, P7? I'd have to look it up again. P8 on debut, defending as world champ, aggressive start. I mean, I'd say starting the season hotter than Hadjar did, obviously. Well, Hadjar crashed right away. But,
Not crash, just failure. Yeah.
no, last
Oh,
season.
last year. Yeah.
Last year. I don't know. We'll see. I think the season will tell. Red Bull's crazy. I mean, if Hadjar ends up having a disaster year and Lindblad has a good one, I could totally see them swapping next year right away. But I think if Hadjar has a good season and Lindblad does, I would see them keeping him on RB one more year and potentially lossing out for somebody new.
If Hadjar's anywhere near average, you got to keep him in that car and just get him warmed up and the more seat time that you have, the more familiar and comfortable you're going to get.
New regulation. Hopefully they kind of learn from that mistake. I don't know if dumping Lawson was a mistake, but I feel like we could talk about this for like a hot minute. But
yeah, that's separate. Probably a separate episode.
It'll be like a short. We'll leave that. But I test Lindblad. I think Hadjar deserves the time. He proved it last year. So before I dive into my Red Bull stuff, we'll just stay there. We got away from Ferrari. This doesn't even have to do with the race. They're bringing the shish kebab wing to China.
The rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, you call it whatever the heck you want.
Part of me feels like it's gimmicky, but I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see what impact that has on their pace. I guess this is just like a 1.0 version too. They're still planning on bringing an upgraded version of this wing to Canada.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I think with zero engineering experience and especially with aero and everything, I don't understand. It's new, but I mean, maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, the premise is rather than creating drag when it's forcing the car down, they're actually creating lift and raising the car, and that's where my understanding stops. How that's beneficial.
That's what I'm saying. After that, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you trying to create more, lift the rear and create more downforce in the front for that front aero? What if we're trying to get on two wheels around the corners? What? Who knows?
I saw a meme about the Codemaster game engineers for the F125, the 2026 DLC. They're punching the air because they have to model this rotating wing just for Ferrari now.
When you do your season and you do your wing upgrades, they have to do it just for the one upgrade because Ferrari will probably scrap it after China. Yeah. I just have to do one upgrade.
I don't know if they'll do it. We'll see.
That's interesting. I think we'll see. But if they're bringing it, I mean, it wasn't a trick.
No.
Maybe it does nothing. Who knows what it does? I don't know. Verstappen bitched a little bit at Lindblad in the pit. I think it was just rookie vet deal. It looked like a brake check, but I think the announcers hit it. Lindblad probably a little bit more cautious on pit entry, especially first race, and Max pushes everything to the absolute limit. So it was more of, hey, you're in my way. Please move.
Yeah, GP kind of brushed it off too when Max was yelling into his radio. He was like, yep, thanks for that. Copy it.
It's like I'm literally watching
Yeah.
you right now. Everything's fine.
I aspire to have the level of patience of GP.
That dude's a legend. Like when he retires, he needs a statue out in front of Red Bull because he's awesome. McLaren, we get. You're a McLaren guy. Obviously, we get half of the team, but what are your thoughts? I have a couple.
I think they finished about where I thought they would be. I don't know if they have a car that's worthy of the podium just yet, but the fact that we've got a Mercedes power unit give
It's
us a little
promising.
bit of time to dial in some things, learn from Mercedes about how to harvest and deploy battery. I guess there's a new software update too that they're going to be implementing for China, which is the spec
McLaren
that Mercedes.
specifically.
Yeah, I guess they were like on an older version of the software.
Okay.
So the software plus learning from deployment data on Mercedes, and then just over time development of the car. I I hope that they're fighting for P3 in the constructors. Um, Based on what we saw in Australia, I think they're pretty close with Red Bull right now, so it could be exciting.
Yeah, I saw. Once we got halfway through the race, Lando was on an island. Really, I mean, he was. Everyone was ways away from. I mean, was it? It
It was a lot. It was like
was like
40,
55
50
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
55 seconds. I think at one point. So I mean, we were looking at the track map, and they're, 3/4 of the way through the lap when P5's crossing the line. So he was just on an island though until Max went through the field, but
Yeah.
just chilling. So I think they're definitely behind, but like you said, just got the power unit upgrade. They got a software upgrade. I guess the big thing is how well does their engineers do with like their aero, like those kind of upgrades? Because obviously, and we talked about in quality the battery. I brought up the battery usage comparison between Mercedes and Lando's. Mercedes has both drivers like doing the exact same thing, while McLaren did not. So maybe they kind of almost create a guideline for them that like, hey, this is when you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it on this track.
Well, I
You
think
know,
Lando just learned from Oscar. You could see the delta where they were in FP3 versus where they were in qualifying as Lando closed the gap, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of that came from looking at how Oscar was using his battery.
it had to be. I mean, he was like 5/10 behind him.
Yeah,
Free practice 3, and then it was like a 10th in quali.
yeah. I'll get on my mini soapbox here. I think that's one of the downfalls of this regulation set is there's so much lap time on the table purely just on battery, and that makes it really hard for the fans to understand what's happening. Um, Maybe they reconsider and they put the battery percentage on the timing table so we can understand that a little bit better, or maybe they decide we don't need it. We're kind of left in the dark, but it's really hard to sort through that as a fan watching the broadcast, understanding, oh, that was a push lap, that was a harvest lap, or that was a race pace lap. Understanding how they're using these things.
It's difficult. I mean, you kept asking for the battery image
I just want
on
to,
the driver
yeah.
cam. It's
Well,
like, hey,
when
we have the
Leclerc and
dashboard.
when Leclerc and Russell were fighting, they did that a handful of times where they had the side by side graphic, and you could see like, okay, this person has more battery, and well, hey, guess what? They used that battery and got in the lead, and they jawed back and forth for a while.
It's super helpful because
Yeah,
they did do that for their fights, and you can see, all right, George is trying to pass Charles. George dumped 80% of his battery. They're about to hit the corner, and then you see Charles dump his whole battery, try to stay ahead.
yeah. I think it just
Hopefully they change it.
helps us all understand what's going on. When the broadcasters are going on and on about super clipping and needing to let off in the corner and downshift, but then you actually see that graphic and you see, okay, well, in this one corner they gained 75% battery or whatever it is. Right now, all of a
Yeah,
sudden you kind of understand that extremeness of the
very
situation.
significant. And I
Yeah.
mean, we were talking during the race that I remember as Max chasing. It might
Was it when he
might
was
have
chasing
been.
Lando?
I think it. No, I think no. He actually passed first. It might have been Lindblad, but they had both depleted their batteries, and then they had gotten out of the corner, and Max had gained more battery. So, like it was like an 80% battery to like a 60. So you can see the people that master the battery strategy, like how much you're going to downshift, how high you're getting RPMs, and how you're deploying that. It really is that big of an advantage because if you're going out of a corner and you're right back on a straight, but person in P7 only got 50% of their battery and P8 got 90, they're going to get passed. I mean, it's just straight up how it's going to work.
Yeah. I guess that's the heart of the issue with this whole rig set is, do you want all these drivers on the same level playing field and you're just trying to figure out who's the best driver, which is not really traditionally what F1 is about, right? That's why it's formula racing and we've got all these different engineering approaches. Versus the other side of that, which is who has the capacity to be a good on-track racer and have racecraft and have pace and use the track, while at the same time using this other part of their brain to stay on top of their battery management and deploy it at the right times and all of these other things. So it's another layer to that, and I think the disconnect is that people have a hard time seeing people let off at the straights and harvesting, right? When it feels like F1 should be like balls to the wall, full throttle all the time.
Why is our lap time getting worse this regulation instead of improving? Because over time, everything's like, oh, last year they were a second half slower, and now all of a sudden we're faster, and every year's like faster, faster, faster. And I was like, okay, do we take a step backwards, or by the end of the reg set, are we going to be like crazy? Who knows?
I'm still holding out for V8s.
Same. There's a while to go now. I was going to bring up Max driving through the back of the field, but I mean, I touched on it super fast. We're kind of getting used to if he's in the back, he's going to be in the points. I think we're spoiled. Earlier I brought up, or before we did the show, I brought up that if it was like Ocon, Stroll, a rookie, someone that's usually towards the back of the grid, if they win P20 or now P22 up to a top 10 spot, it's like, dude, drive of their life. Like, this is legendary. But you throw on some of these other drivers like Max, it's expected because they've had some issues the last few years or like some unfortunate things. And he could bring up Brazil the last 2 years if you want. He's crazy. But I mean, you throw Hamilton back there when he's being Hamilton, not last year, but you expect him to get up there. Piastri, Norris, Charles, you have these top drivers. It's like we're almost too spoiled. And then, like the last couple of years, we've seen a lot with Verstappen where it's like, okay, he's P20. He might get a podium. I mean, you're like, this is very possible.
You're almost disappointed if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, if he's not like, I mean, as of Max, like Max is my guy.
Yeah.
I get the chills right now thinking of Brazil 2 years ago because I remember telling my wife that she's like, what's going on? I'm like, Max got screwed in quality. That was my opinion, which red flag sucks. And then it's raining. I'm like, he literally needs a perfect drive to save this season. He has to go from last to first. It happened. I never even thought it would. Chills, literal chills.
My unbiased take on that is it was awesome and he crushed it and everything laid out perfectly. My denial Lando fan hat was that he was gifted the win because of the timing of the safety car. But
it all factors in. We've had this conversation. Yeah, the safety car definitely helps.
Yeah.
Lando also made a mistake. This is another tangent. Yeah. This is where we get to fight.
It's okay. It's not 2024 anymore. We know where we stand.
Yeah, and Lando got his year, so that's cool.
Yeah. Glad he got one in. This would be a much more painful year to be going from, qualifying front row lockouts to this year would be painful if we didn't make last year happen.
Yeah, that'd be sad boy. It'd be a dark year, knowing him. Let's get to Mercedes. That way we don't get too get too long here. They look good. I mean, like you said earlier, probably managing once Ferrari screwed up their strategy. I mean, after that, it was free. The second Ferrari didn't pit, we were both like, the race is over. Unless George or Kimi do something weird. Unless major things happen, which, get a quarter of the way, halfway through the season, might be some upgrades, but I think it's too late by then. I think constructors is locked Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. The development cycle is the development cycle, and people are going to make incremental jumps, right? But you can't forget that the top teams are going to make those same incremental jumps. And so unless they bring an upgrade that fails, and we've seen that happen, but I don't think they're in that position. Yeah, I mean, one of these other top teams is going to have to pull something out of their ass to be competitive with Mercedes. I think they've got constructors on lock. I think George is the driver champion at this point. But who knows? Maybe he gets unlucky and Kimi steals it as a.
Yeah, I mean, they might be fighting kind of Lando, Oscar. Ferrari didn't look bad. They just need to get it right. I mean, that's as simple as that. It was strategy. I mean, that might have been a Ferrari podium.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough, and we'll see. We didn't get the full example of what Red Bull is capable of. I think McLaren is off the pace a little bit.
I think they're fourth right now.
But we'll see. I did have a follow-up that I forgot with your saying the drivers have to multitask. I mean, I think it's almost like the drivers that sim race more might be better at managing the batteries because of the multitasking. Like, we sim race, if I start managing all my side components, I start making mistakes. Like, we're very similar in pace, but as soon as I have to do things outside of racing,
I just start talking to you when I need to catch up.
or if we start talking, yes. But I feel like it's kind of a good example of how this is. So you have these, think of how long Alonso and Hamilton have raced, Hulkenberg, and then also you throw in this, like, it's almost like just this new era. It's like throwing a Tesla in an F1 car now. It's like you have this weird battery management thing that's like almost like 50% of what you have to do now.
We looked at this during the race because I think you and I were questioning, like, okay, how much input is the race engineer giving these drivers on, like, okay, deploy now or don't deploy or those kinds of things. And what we learned was not a lot of feedback from the race engineer. So a lot of it is on the driver. I mean, some of it is like programmed into whatever engine mode they're programmed onto, and they've got the dial, right? So when the engineer's like red mode 3, right? Well, that means something, and it's some deployment strategy for that. But a lot of it, like, is just driver input, and so knowing that, diving into understanding how to maximize your harvesting, when to downshift, how much throttle to have on when you're super clipping, like all those kinds of things. You bring up a good point. A lot of people harp on video games, but the ability to kind of problem solve like that and manage different tasks at the same time, like, definitely could see sim racing helping that.
Yeah, and I know half the grid's addicted to it. I mean, Max doesn't sleep. He just sim races or races an F1 car and then drinks a Red Bull. So
and then just does GT3 driving on the side for fun.
Yeah, he's going to do the 24-hour, was it Nürburgring?
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Maybe we'll do an episode on that. We'll end it in a couple minutes. Predictions, China, thoughts?
I mean, Ferrari's got to think they're close on pace if they're rushing this wing upgrade, if that's something that gets them over the hurdle.
They obviously think it gives them something.
Yeah. I mean, Hamilton loves China. He's won that race a lot. He won the sprint race last year. I think it's another Mercedes front row lockout, and I'm going to gamble and I'm going to say Hamilton.
Okay.
Place.
I think I want to be a total fanboy right now because we didn't get to see much.
Don't say it.
I think you're right. I'm going to go George, Leclerc, Kimi.
Okay.
I think they're going to get split. I really want to throw Max up there, but I just don't. Based on the gap, I don't think they have the car yet. The
I mean, he'll
deceiving
be
thing
there.
is
He'll be
Hadjar's
P4, P5, or somewhere
quality.
right in there.
Hadjar's quality is the only thing that gives me a question mark because if he did P3, we know Verstappen could pull a crazy lap out of his butt, just straight up. We saw it last year against the McLarens. Compared to the McLarens, he's driving a dump truck, and he'd just make it happen. It'd be 100th of a second, but
Yeah.
it'll be Merc Ferrari. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised to see 30, 40 seconds in between again, and then maybe we get a fun Merc Ferrari fight without any strategy mess ups. We get Red Bull McLaren going at it, and then middle of the grid is close, seems like. So it'll be fun. But George, Charles, Kimmy.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Well, I think it's going to be another exciting, at least front half of the race. I'm hoping this isn't the trend that we get to the first pit stop and then the race just becomes a snoozer.
Yeah,
but the first beginning of the laps are going to be great. I think the sprint race is going to be fun. The chaos of only having one practice session and dialing your setup, it's going to be chaos.
Sprints might be the only chance Aston has to get points because they can race.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Can they do the whole sprint race without having to go into the garage?
Congratulations.
Is it less than 25 laps?
10 laps behind. We were wrong, though. There was no contact at turn 1, so we'll see.
They kept it clean.
Or no major contact. I'm sure there were some bumps, but maybe we'll have another clean turn 1. Now that I said it, probably won't happen, but
I did not have it on my bingo card that the worst crashes were going to be FP3 and the reconnaissance lap.
yeah, that's kind of wild. Now that you put it that way. Yeah, well, we'll see. We're days away already. Short turnaround, so do a little quality recap for the race and see where we end up.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you after quali.
See you guys.